You did a song with Tiger Shroff, which was Casanova.
You have people that support you, and then all of a sudden you just start seeing things in a bigger picture, and your vision is no longer like bound by just this. You're just like, whoa, okay, maybe I can be a singer. And then moving to India, I felt like I was like a little fish in the big massive ocean. The kind of thrill just being in the studio gave me. And I think that's where I kind of realized I'm a very, very process driven person.
Hello friends and welcome to Radio City Freedom. Back again in the studio is Raveena Mehta.
Hi.
Born in Antwerp but moved to Mumbai in 2008 just so that we could witness her talent closely. So welcome back to the studio. Thank you so much for being here again.
Thank you so much for having me.
So a lot of things have happened in the past, I guess, 7 months?
Yes.
Around
since
October,
we last met.
right?
Yep.
Yeah. You got married.
I did get married,
Yes.
yes.
You took a little break and then you had like few more releases, but how these 7 months been for you?
They've honestly been, it's been quite a whirlwind, honestly, personally and professionally. I'm between Bombay and the States now, so that's been a bit of a shift as well. But it's been incredible, honestly. I think like creatively as well, sometimes when you kind of take like a little bit of a step, not even a step back, but you take like, I think maybe like, 2 steps back, you're able to go 5 or 10 steps forward just because you have more perspective. And I think that's kind of been the journey for me over the last 7 months. It's been amazing, a lot of time with my family, close friends, and a lot of time with myself as well, which has been great. Yeah.
Right, I guess a barrage of work sometimes causes saturation and you just want a little time away from that so that you have the energy to spring forward.
Exactly,
right?
Exactly, and that's,
So when you returned with something quite surprising, not something that I would expect, but you did a song with Tiger Shroff, which was Casanova.
Right.
So how was that experience?
Casanova was an incredible experience. I think overall, I think just working with someone that is so hardworking, but also so, I think his work ethic is just something I've never seen before. And in general, like I think there's like a connect with music. He's so passionate about it, and I think to like kind of discover a journey in music it's a beautiful one. So to be kind of with him on that in one of his singles was absolutely incredible. And we did the acoustic version of Casanova together, so that was it was amazing. Yeah, it was really great.
So how is it working with someone who's not traditionally a musician?
Yeah.
Is it a bit different?
I think honestly, I wouldn't say it's different. Of course, it has its own I think journey. Like the song has its own journey to like being kind of like to fruition, but I wouldn't say it's a very different journey. I think each artist, at the end of the day, you're kind of presenting yourself as an artist, and each person comes with their own kind of like exposure and understanding as to what they want to be translated into their art. And I think that's kind of what it was, with Tiger as well. It was absolutely amazing.
Right. So I mean, you've collaborated with so many different kinds of people, right?
Yes.
And I guess I would like to ask that, what kind of qualities does an artist need to have, or what things does an artist need to work on in order to seamlessly collaborate with so many different kinds of people?
Honestly, I think just having an open mind. I think being extremely accepting of people, of their kind of journeys. I think also wanting to kind of experiment and try different things, especially in a career that like, if I perceive it as a long career, so it's like this is like still just the beginning. So try everything you want, meet people, explore your work with different artists, and just keep your mind as open as you can so you can keep learning from them.
That's true, but I guess, I mean, you'd probably be able to answer this better than most people.
Yeah.
When you are just jumping from a particular style to another, because you're not going to find the same kind of artist, right?
No.
There's this thing which becomes very prevalent, which is creative differences.
Right.
How does one deal with those?
That's a very good question. Honestly, I personally think just like respectfully kind of getting your point across, still like keeping in mind that like, I think obviously there's no rights and wrongs, especially art is so subjective, but at the same time, like I think just keeping, if you believe something to be true and if you think something will work a certain way, I think just respectfully kind of communicating that, and I think for that you need to have that like open communication, especially with people you're working with. Yeah.
But isn't it important to, I mean, see, not everyone's going to have the same approach as you, right?
Right.
So when someone does not have the same approach as you,
Yeah.
how do you deal with that? If someone does not have the approach of, having that respectfully putting your point across or
Right.
having that open mind.
That's honestly, I think that's where you kind of just begin to, you kind of think to yourself that like, is this something maybe that I want to continue doing? You can ask yourself that, you can ask yourself, what am I, like, then I think you have to ask yourself like certain strategic questions about like, whether this helps you in any way, how does this kind of showcase your voice or work to the world, because at the end of the day it is also that, it's like a showcase of your talent or your work, so you have to really, you do have to think about yourself as well. But yeah, no, I think it's a tough one to kind of grapple with, because you're working with people, right? People are complex, and like yeah, so sometimes like it might not work out. I like luckily have not had that experience yet, but I'm sure people have, and then you just decide whether you want to kind of work with them again or take that path again.
Yeah, but I guess there must be those pick your battles moments, right?
Yeah, 100%. Like I think something that I also realized is that like, because I've obviously worked with so many artists and done a lot of collaborations, in that it was amazing for me to like learn and grow as an artist, but I think there came a point where I also just recently, over the last like 7 months, decided that I feel like I've experienced a lot, like kind of seen a lot of different perspectives, etc., and now I'm kind of really excited and ready to kind of like take on my own kind of work and sound and create like a catalog of work that really defines me in a way, or not defines me, but like kind of like showcases my evolution or my sound, and that's kind of the journey that I've kind of like, where I've kind of come as of now.
Right, it's pretty much like an amalgamation of all the different things that you've learned from different people that you work with. And just getting that into your own sound.
Exactly, it's all learnings, right? Like at the end of the day, like everything you're doing is kind of, you're just kind of building on yourself, you're building on what you want to be, you're kind of like foreseeing, you have to have the kind of foresight to see where you want to be or have the vision, and then kind of build up slowly. And it is a slow process, but yeah, and I think it's a cool place to be, to finally be able to create work where you feel like, okay, this is really a part of my sound which I haven't really showcased yet.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you're trying new styles,
yes,
right, styles you've not been a part of before,
yeah,
wouldn't you have to really study that to a certain extent and practice,
for sure.
and
100%, yeah.
Right. So what, doesn't a sense of nervousness come in, because lots of times one would be just that I want to stick to what I know.
Yeah.
What makes you want to not stick to what you know?
So for instance, with like Bewafa, Bewafa was very different to what I do. Like the kind of music I sing, or the kind of music I sing on my own when I'm at home, is like very R&B, very dreamy, very soft. And I know that's my like comfort zone, and I know that's also where, in my opinion, I sound, it's like what I've done the most, right? It's what I've kind of grown up doing. So Bewafa was extremely different because I was exploring a whole new tone. It was a much more hard-hitting song, much more chest voice, a more aggressive sound, which I hadn't done before. So for that, I was definitely nervous, because I was like, firstly, I don't know how this will be received. I don't know if this sound is too different for me. But then also you think to yourself, in that, like in what I was saying earlier, like when you think of that vision that you have for yourself, you're like, in the bigger picture, really, this is just kind of me exploring a part of my identity or my sound, and that's so cool. So,
yeah, and I guess that little success that you see yourself getting when you try something different would spur you on to...
It motivates you, it 100% motivates you, because you're just like, I didn't think I could, I did it, and here we are, and it was a really cool experience altogether. So now on to the next.
So out of all these artists that you've worked with,
Yeah.
Who would you say has been the most fun to work with?
I think all of them have had an incredible like journey in creating the songs. I love working with the Rish. We're good friends, and outside of that, the work that we've created, whether it's Aja Mere Naal or I Want You or I Want You Reprise, like the songs that have a very special place for me. Just because I just moved back from London, and it was one of the first kind of projects and like kind of like I guess musical projects that I kind of started just after moving back, and it talking about that motivation, that kind of kickstart. It really like pushed things in like a specific trajectory, and that was great.
Right.
Yeah.
And along with working with all these artists, I remember I think just after we had our interaction, you came up with the song Nana, the 1 minute music.
Yes.
So how was that experience? Trying to get everything into that 1 minute.
It was a great experience because again, like to create a song with the duration of 1 minute is so it's so unconventional. But of course, like it really did create some sort of movement within India, where like so many artists were doing it, and it was cool because you had kind of creative freedom on your visuals. You had creative, which independent artists I guess do for the most part, but it was cool because like within 1 minute you had to use these certain features, and just a very different, really just different cool experience. Yeah.
To what extent do you feel that being relevant with social media trends is important in today's time for an artist?
I think it's I think whether we like it or not, it's really important. Just because it's the way you get your message across to the world, it's the way you kind of showcase your work. It's almost like a portfolio that you're building. So I think definitely it's important. I think it's kind of a double-edged sword because you have your artistic integrity and you have your artistic vision, but then at the same time, there's a whole other side of everything, which is what's trending, what's doing well, what the numbers are showing, etc. And it's like a balance between both. And social media, I think, fits into like that kind of category.
I guess even though you enjoy your job, you're not going to like everything about it.
No, exactly. And that's fine as long as you can keep looking at the glass half full.
Right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. That whole nervousness factor and that the whole jittery feelings, how do you manage those?
It's such a different field, and if nobody in your kind of circle comes from that space, to kind of get into it itself is quite hard. So outside of that, I was always singing around the house since like the age of 6. So I think I enjoy being in the studio the most, and then after that I enjoy shooting the music videos the most.